Hello my dear friends, you are at Snail TV, and today we will tell you about this Bollywood movie. This is an Indian movie created in 2007. The drama lasts 2.5 hours, but 10 minutes is enough for us. So let's go. A boy named Ishan Avasti lives in one of the cities of India. He is 8 years old. At first glance, his life is no different from others, but this child has its own characteristics. At the beginning of the movie, we see Ishan gathering fish in the water. He is late for school. He is hurried by the school bus driver's assistant, and they quickly get into the transport. The boy is inquisitive, but detachment from the outside world can be traced in his behavior. This affects learning outcomes. Ishan can't read or write. At school, he is often punished of this, but it seems that he doesn't care, and he continues to misbehave. His academic performance is so poor that he gets only 2 or 3 points out of 25 on tests. When the boy comes home, he doesn't even listen to his mother, grabs food with dirty hands, and runs away from her. In her spare time, Avasti loves to do puzzles and draw. He also has a highly developed imagination. Once during a game in the yard, Ishan's acquaintances asked him to give them a ball that had rolled away. It turned out that Avasti had problems with coordination. He threw the ball wrong and he flew over the fence. His friends didn't like this, and they began to accuse him of curvature. The boy turned out to be covered in abrasions and scratches, and the disgruntled mother of his rival came to complain to his parents. Avasti's father threatens to send him to a boarding school for bad behavior and academic failure. But the head of the family leaves on a business trip, providing freedom for his son with his absence. The boy lives in his own imaginary world. He's not even able to button up his shirt, wash his shoes, and come to school on time. At the first lesson, the boy is asked to read a couple of lines from the book, but Ishan only amuses the class and takes the teacher out because of his inability to do this. The boy is kicked out of the class, but he is not sad and decides to leave the class. He walks around the city, eating ice cream and watching people. And when he returned home, he didn't tell anyone about his flight from school. And while doing his homework, Avasti's mother scolded him for his terrible handwriting and literacy. She forced the hero to correct mistakes, but the boy stopped listening to her, unable to bear the pressure from her. Late at night, Avasti confesses his escape to his brother and asks him to forge an explanatory note for the teachers because he doesn't want to be punished. The brother scolds him but helps him. The next day, Ishan writes a test in which he manages to solve only one task. He does it with imagination. There he flies in a spaceship and multiplies 3 by 9. The result of his flights was the number 3. You don't need to be a genius to understand the wrong answer. But the satisfied student is happy with the solution found and goes to take the test with a clear conscience. Ishan's father was waiting for him at home. He came from a business trip and was glad to see his son, but was furious when he accidentally saw a fake explanatory note. Parents came to school because of what happened, where they learned about the deceit and tricks of their son. It turns out that he didn't tell them the results of tests and dabbled in class. Ishan will also not able to leave for the second year again. Therefore, the head of the family is offered to send the child to a special school. He gets angry, but later agrees to the proposal. He agrees to transfer his son to a boarding school. Ishan is angry with his father and begs to forgive him, but he doesn't care anymore. The Avasti's family arrives at the boarding school. Ishan is told about the discipline, and the parents leave, crying and realizing the hopelessness of the situation. The following days of the protagonist pass on a sad note. He is not interested in anything, and he doesn't want to draw anymore. It seems that Ishan is starting a depressive period in his life. A lot of interesting things are happening around him, but he is not up to it now. Classes have begun, and the boy's painful problems revived. Teachers considered Avasti to be a special developmental children. But there is also a positive moment in this story. The main character manages to make friends with a neighbor on the desk who appreciated his style of thinking. It turns out that the new acquaintance is an excellent student in the class, and he tries to help Ishan in his studies. The next test for Ishan was a fine art lesson, where a strict teacher noticed Ishan's inattention to the lesson and punished him with blows to the knuckles. This teacher made the children draw certain pictures with even and clear lines. But the letters still continue to swim and mix in front of Avasti's eyes. All the teachers are dissatisfied with them, and the main character is completely at a loss. He doesn't even want to see his parents at the meeting, and the paints that Ishan was given by his elder brother remained untouched. A certain amount of time passes, and the boy's suffering doesn't subside. But suddenly, an unusual teacher of fine arts appears in the classroom. who has arrived to replace the old despot teacher for some time. Ram Nikam puts on a show for the children where he dances and sings and also plays the flute. In general, he creates movement in the class, in modern terms. The appearance of a new teacher was spectacular. The children liked Ram, but the 8-year-old Ishan didn't pay any attention to him. The new teacher didn't force the kids to draw on certain things. He asked them to use their imagination. But Nikam noticed Ishan's strangeness. He saw a white sheet in front of the boy and tried to talk to him. After classes, the teacher was interested in the behavior of the child from his friend, an excellent student. He heard the story of the appearance of a boy in a boarding school and began to feel sorry for him. Ram talked to his girlfriend and decided to help Avasti. The teacher began to study the problem of the main character through his notebooks and saw a certain pattern in the boy's mistakes. The man thought about the situation while caring for special children, and this situation brought him to tears. Nikam decided to go to Ishan's parents to talk to them. Upon arrival, he asked the boy's family to show him the study notebooks. He learned that the boy could draw well. Ram Nikam was amazed by the boy's talent. He told his parents about the child's illness. Turns out, they don't know he was dyslexic, an illness that previously prevented Ishan from writing and reading. The school teacher decided to act on his own without receiving any support from the boy's parents. Ram came to the director of the boarding school for this purpose and asked for permission to conduct additional classes with Ishan. Nikam received permission and taught a lesson in his student's class. He told him about famous people who suffered in childhood from problems with the alphabet and numbers. And Ishan, who saw his sketchbook in the hands of the teacher, also listened to him attentively. After the lecture was over, the artist left Avasti in the classroom and told him about himself as a child. It turned out that he too suffered from an inability to read and write. From that moment, a friendship began between the student and the teacher, and Ishan began to actively study. Sometime later, the head of the Avasti's family came to visit Ram. He talked to the teacher, and when he went out onto the porch, he saw his son reading the poster aloud. The man wiped away a tear and ran away. Nikam liked the positive results of young Ishan's education and decided to create a competition in drawing skills between teachers, directors and students. Ram Nikam most of all wanted to see Avasti Jr. participating in the competition. The boy didn't appear for a long time, but sometime later he came to paint a picture with his new gift paints. When the boy approached the artist, he saw that Ram was painting his portrait. Avasti was surprised. On this day, even the teacher of mathematics and the director became painters. Everyone tried their best, but it's time to announce the results. There was a difficult struggle between the two works, the works of the student and teacher. Ishan Avasti won. The boy, who didn't expect to win, received the prize and joyfully rushed towards his teacher. The boy was crying, not believing his luck. Ishan's parents, who came to pick up the child, were shocked. They didn't believe their ears. Their child was praised by the teachers, and the director himself appreciated his talent. He showed his relatives a picture of the boy. The Avasti's family thanked Ram Nikam for his support. Everyone around was amazed at the abilities of an unusual child. Avasti's father was moved and could not hold back his tears. The child was sent home for the holidays, and he once again ran to hug his adult friend goodbye. The happy teacher threw the boy up, and the story ended there. The end. Dear friends, our story is coming to an end. If you want to see more cool videos, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you soon at Snail TV.